Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Dual Destinies. Right now we are about to call Marlon Rhymes up to the stand and figure out if he was the one who put the sleeping pill inside Orla. And for what reason? What's going on? What's everybody making that face for? I haven't been watching the trial and nobody told me anything. Marlon Rhymes, you are under suspicion for the attempted murder of the Orca. Really, guys? I see. Well, if it's already out. Mr. Rhymes? Is he really going to admit it? First, I'll tell the truth. The truth, huh? Okie dokie. Sasha's lying to protect that orca. At 3:30 a.m. on the 20th, there was still water in the orca pool. The incident happened before the orca was moved to the show pool. Orla killed the captain by bashing him 30 feet high and making him slam down on the water. So I thought the orca should pay the consequences. Now we're back on the orca again. I did not see that testimony coming. Now wait just 1 minute. Yesterday Orla was proven innocent. Besides, you said Orla was in the show pool during the cleaning. I didn't want to sell Sasha out. That's why I didn't tell the truth. But the fact is, all three of us, Sasha, the captain, and me, were cleaning the pool room. But Dr. Crab and Miss Buckler both said you were at the show stage. Well, the only thing Dr. Crab knew about the cleaning was what I told him. I didn't give him a whole lot of details either. Maybe he misunderstood. And Sasha is lying to protect the orca. She can't tell the truth. Sasha put blood on the skull rod herself to make a fake blood stain. I think it's pretty brave of her to let herself get arrested to protect the orca. Mr. Rhymes, how can you lie like that? It's the truth. Besides, wouldn't it be better for you if I wasn't lying? If the orca did it, you win your case. What? This is all very hard to believe. But if Mr. Rhymes' story is true, Miss Buckler would be innocent and the orca would be the killer. Meaning if we turned our backs on Orla, we could save Sasha. Question mark, question mark. Having a witness lie to save your own client. What a dirty, underhanded tactic, right, Dono? Excuse me, I wasn't the one who told him to say that.
Objection!
Exactly. Yesterday, the defense proved Orla was not guilty. We have no intention of going back on our assertions now. What do you say, Mr. Wright? All you gotta do is admit the orca did it, and Sasha goes free. Isn't a lawyer supposed to act in his client's best interest? But that wouldn't be acting in her interest. Miss Buckler believes Orla is innocent. And we, of course, believe that Miss Buckler herself is innocent, too. Acting in the client's best interest is an important part of our job as lawyers. Using dirty means to win a verdict could destroy our client's faith in us. That's right! We believe in both Miss Buckler and Orla is innocent. Huh? I just don't understand how you can treat a human and an orca equally. Sasha and the orca? You can only save one of them. Ha ha ha! I don't know about that. This is Phoenix Wright. I'll do what I want. I think I can save them both. All I have to do is disprove your testimony. Oh yeah? Then go ahead and try. I will do just that. If I can't tear down his testimony, I won't be able to save both of them. I have to find a weak spot and start tearing. Alright, we gotta submit Shipley's data, the autopsy report, when he's talking about bashing him 30 feet high, and then slamming him into the water.
Objection!
No! When lies are piled on top of each other, contradictions start to emerge. This time is no different. Are you saying there's some kind of inconsistency in my testimony? That's exactly what I'm saying. You claim that the victim was sent flying about 30 feet into the air. But the autopsy report states the cause of death was thought to be from a 65-foot fall. What? Additionally, in your testimony a moment ago, you said at 3:30 a.m. on the 20th there was still water in the Orca pool. The pool is about 65 feet deep, and there's about 30 feet between the water and the ceiling. If the pool was full of water, as you claim, it would be impossible for the victim to fall about 65 feet, as the autopsy states. Ah! Marlon, please. Mr. Rimes claimed he was in the Orca pool room so he could make these statements. But the truth must be he was at the show stage, just as Dr. Crabbe and Sasha testified. I believe that brings us back around to the Orca didn't do it. I didn't believe the witness's testimony from the outset. I am grateful to you, right, Dodo, for shutting the witness up. As I thought, the only person who could have killed the victim is Sasha Buckler. The fact still remains whether the witness was the one who tried to kill the Orca or not. Son of a... Mr. Rimes was right about one thing. His testimony was advantageous to our case. But pointing out the contradiction in his statement will only drive us into a corner. As Prosecutor Blackwell said, suspicion against Miss Buckler is now deepened. Uh-oh. If I don't do something fast, the judge is going to find Sasha guilty.
Mr. Wright, isn't there anything we can do? There has to be some way to prove Sasha is innocent.
At a time like this, the thing to do is turn my thinking around. Instead of trying to prove that Sasha couldn't have done it, I have to think about what made it possible for somebody else to have done it. As long as the crime scene is the Orca pool room, then Sasha is the only one who could have committed the crime. No need for pity, your baldness. Just finish him off with a swift verdict. It appears the defense has no objections. Very well, I will give my verdict. Hold it! No. Your Honor, please hold off on that verdict. But you were so quiet, Mr. Wright. Do you have something to say now? The defense has a counter-argument. You do? Pitiful. Such desperation. You look pale. Are you sure you're prepared to make this counter-argument? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. I'll never forget those words, no matter how many years go by. Even though it's probably just a bluff, I'll give it to them with a smile. What if the scene of the crime was somewhere else? The scene of the crime? Somewhere else? What? You're finding fault with the police investigation now. As I understand it, the prosecution's argument is as follows. The scene of the crime was the Orca's pool room. Only the defendant and victim entered that room when there was no water in the pool. Therefore, only the defendant could have committed the crime. That is correct. But if the scene of the crime was not the Orca pool room, then somebody other than the defendant could have committed the crime.
Are you sure you know where you're going with this?
I might not be too sure, but I can't back down now. Mr. Wright, I hope that I'm wrong, but this isn't one of your bluffs by any chance. Of course not. The judge knows me way far too well. And do you have a theory on where the actual scene of the crime was? Yes, of course. Think, Phoenix, think. Think of a place, other than the Orca pool room, where one could fall to one's death. Then, by all means, please share your theory with the court. Where was the real scene of the murder? Well, the cursor was kind of already over it.
Take that!
The show stage pool might have been drained of water at some point as well. And if so, it would be just as possible to fall to one's death there as the Orca pool. Right, Dono. What you're doing is a disgrace to your profession. I sincerely hope you have some basis for what you're suggesting. Of course I do. I will, as soon as I can think of something. The victim's body was found in the Orca pool. How do you explain that?
Objection!
How about if, after the victim was killed in the show stage pool, his body was moved to the Orca pool? How about if? What kind of presentation of your argument is that? You had better have a reasonable explanation of how the body was moved. There's no turning back now. I have to think of a way the body could have been moved. Was there something at the scene that could have been used to move the body? Yup. This thing up here.
Take that!
The hoist runs between the Orca pool room and the show stage. The stretcher can be hung from the hoist to move things like Orla or the Skull Rock. The stretcher could also have been used to move the dead body. Yes, if the stretcher can move the Orca or the Skull Rock, it seems likely it would also move a dead body as well. Wow, somehow that worked. I just might be able to pull this off. If the show pool was the scene of the crime, somebody else could have done it.
Objection!
You desperately spew conjecture, and now you even make up a crime scene? Oh. Ah! Eek!
Not again!
You don't have the soul of a warrior. You don't deserve to be on the battlefield. And even your fabrication is half-baked. It's a disgrace. What do you mean, half-baked? The hoist can be operated from the Orca pool room only. And the only person who entered the Orca pool room was the defendant. So even if the body was moved, the only one who could have moved it was the defendant herself. Ah! Blackquill, you've never fought Phoenix fucking right. He's gonna turn everything around. Order! So it comes back to the defendant, no matter which pool it was? Meaning, I can't clear Sasha either way? Sasha said she moved Orla and the Skull Rock. And I believe her. So it could it be possible that she moved the body herself without being aware of it? Mr. Wright, do you have an objection to Prosecutor Blackwell's claim? Do I have an objection to the claim that the defendant moved the body? Yeah, I have no objections. I have no objections. Ms. Buckler must have been the one who moved the body. What? Mr. Wright, are you admitting the defendant committed the murder? No. I'm simply conceding that she was the only one who could have moved the body. However, I contend Ms. Buckler was not aware that is what she was doing. The culprit made her move it, unbeknownst to her. The defendant moved a dead body without recognizing that it was a dead body? How could that be possible? The body was found in the Orca pool. It must have been moved there somehow. I might find some kind of hint in the things she moved with the stretcher. The culprit made Ms. Buckler move the body along with this piece of evidence. The Skull Rock.
Take that!
The Skull Rock? Ms. Buckler told me yesterday that she moved the Skull Rock when she was cleaning. The only two things Ms. Buckler moved to the Orca pool are Orla and the Skull Rock. I would like to suggest that the victim's body may have been placed inside the Skull Rock. What? Hidden inside the rock, the body could have been moved to the Orca pool with the hoist. At the show stage, Marlon Rimes loaded up the Skull Rock with the body inside. And then he used the walkie-talkie to let Ms. Buckler know the rock was loaded. Ms. Buckler operated the hoist from the Orca pool room and moved the stretcher. She moved the rock without knowing the body was inside. Do you really think there's enough space inside the skull rock to place a body? The swashbuckler flyer indicates it could be possible. Please focus on the question at the bottom left. Oh, it says, who will obtain the gold coins hidden in the skull rock? In that case, I suppose the rock is most likely hollow. What's more, if the body was inside the skull rock, it explains the remaining unanswered questions. Such as... Please take a look at the security footage of the scene Mr. Plume witnessed. Where did the body that Mr. Plume saw come from? Please recall. What was Orla doing to the skull rock at the time? She was headbutting it. Ooh! That's right, Orla's ramming released the body from the skull rock. The body had been placed inside the skull rock and moved there from the show stage. I assert that the real murder scene was, in fact, the show stage pool. Blah blah blah. Ooh. What rubbish is this now? You don't have a single scrap of evidence.
Objection!
It's easy enough to verify what I say. Take a look inside the skull rock for yourself. You should find some kind of proof that the body was there. Blood, fibers, hair. Gah! Right, Dodo. I keep feeling like I'm saying Dodo and not Dono.
Mr. Wright, that was incredible! You turned things completely around! And to think, it all started with that half-baked bluff, too!
Whew, that was a close one. Did you really have to add that last bit? If the murder took place at the show stage, then who is the perpetrator? It is, naturally, the person who was at the show stage. Mr. Rhymes, weren't you the one who loaded the skull rock onto the stretcher at the show stage? Wow, Mr. Wright, that was some pretty smart brain work you did there. To be honest, I never thought you could figure it out. I tried to protect myself, but I guess it came back to bite me. Are you confessing you gave false testimony before Mr. Rhymes? That's perjury! Yeah. What Mr. Wright says is true. The body was inside the skull rock. And it's true the captain was killed in the pool room. What? He's admitting it that easily? This time, I'm going to tell you the truth about what happened that day. Okay, if you say so. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. In the show pool, the orca shot the captain up into the air. Then the captain came down and slammed into the water. I could still remember the spectators' screams clearly. All Sasha did was move the body. She was trying to protect the orca. When Mr. Plume witnessed the orca finding the body, I freaked. So now we're back to the orca again, I see. If you were going to give testimony like that, why did I bother putting you on the stand? All I'm doing is telling the truth. That day, Sasha wanted to do the old version of the Swashbuckler Spectacular, so I suggested she hide the body in the skull rock and move it to the orca pool. I was going to figure out what to do with the body after the show was over. The orca is the one that killed the captain. It wasn't me, and it wasn't Sasha. So it was Mr. Rhymes' idea to hide the body in the skull rock? But if Mr. Rhymes is the culprit, why would he protect Sasha? False charges against Sasha would mean he himself would escape suspicion. So why...
Mr. Wright, how about if you leave this to me?
Athena, do you mean you heard something?
Yep, noise. Discord in Mr. Rhymes' heart.
So that means somewhere in his testimony, there's an inconsistency in his emotions. Alright, Athena, give him a good counseling session.
You got it, boss!
Huh? What's this? What are you getting, Athena?
This testimony is pretty complex. Feelings of deep sadness and intense anger are being called up. Those two emotions appear to be running out of control.
Out of control emotions? Is that going to be a problem?
We'll have to probe their cause if we want to get to his true emotions and testimony. There might even be odd or unnatural spots of his testimony if he isn't even aware of.
Alright, let's probe the cause of his out-of-control emotions then.
I'll explain how to probe. Let's find the root cause together.
Okay. Tutorials. Let's get started! In the show pool, the orca shot the captain up into the air. Then the captain came down and slammed into the water. I can still remember the spectators' scream. Now, okay, why are there spectators on here? So let's probe that. Let's probe the audience. I doubt there were any spectators there at the show stage when the owner died. If there had been, those witnesses would have told us the true crime scene right away. What? Oh, right, of course. I just made a mistake. That's a pretty big mistake, buddy.
Okay, that made the sadness subside. So maybe the spectator's part was what was making him sad?
I wonder why he would make that mistake, saying spectators were there. How strange.
The only thing I could think of is that he was mixing up one memory with another. Like, he was in a similar situation before, and it was deeply imprinted on his heart.
A situation where an orca killed somebody and there were spectators there. Hey! I think I know why he's mixing up his memories. The reason why Mr. Rime's mixed up his memories is... Where's the... I think I'm presenting the book here, is it? Yeah, I think so.
Take that!
Mr. Rimes, I think I know what happened. Could you have been mixing up what happened a year ago with this incident? Maybe that's why you slipped and said the killer was killed in front of spectators. What? How did you... You're right. I did see the orca kill somebody a year ago. But what about it? I was just one of the spectators.
Really? Just another spectator? There must be a reason why you feel great sadness about that incident last year.
Silence!
Stop this nonsensical scrutiny of feelings. Just present evidence to prove your point.
Beep! Boss, do we have any kind of evidence that would back us up here?
There is one piece that comes to mind that might explain his sadness. Well, I'm waiting. Let's see this evidence that has to do with Marlon Rime's sadness. Quote-unquote sadness. The charm.
Take that!
Azura Summers died an accidental death 1 year ago. This is her boyfriend's charm. Hey, what are you doing with that charm? It was found in Rifle's stomach yesterday. Judging by your reaction, I believe this charm belongs to you. Ah, my stylus.
I guess I need to push him just a little harder to make him admit it. When Mr. Rime said the word charm, he was very rattled. We better examine the charm a little more.
Good idea. Let's look inside it. Huh? What's this? A photograph? Hey, this is... Azura Summers and Marlon Rimes!
Mr. Rimes, you and Azura Summers were a couple, weren't you?
So what if we were a couple? If it doesn't have anything to do with the captain's case. You believe you saw the orca kill your girlfriend. That's the cause of your sadness. Isn't that motion of yours connected to the current case?
Silence!
The only thing you revealed was the witness's relationship with the victim a year ago. Oh dear, I gotta watch that German. What does the witness's past have to do with the case at hand? I don't know yet.
But we managed to pinpoint the source of his sadness. So let's delve into who Mr. Rimes is angry at.
Oh gosh, that's so obvious, come on. Sasha did was move the body. She was trying to protect the orca. When Mr. Plume witnessed the orca finding the body, I freaked. Well, that's easy enough.
Got it!
Mr. Rhymes, you're angry with Orla, aren't you? Oh, by the way, just letting you know, any of the parts where Orla shows up in that testimony thing, you can actually probe. I just felt like probing the last one, since we didn't go to the very end of the images. Angry? At an orca? Why would I be? If you think I have some reason to be mad, then show me some proof. Oh my god, Rhymes! Do I have proof that Rhymes has a reason to be mad? Yeah? I love the last one. I bet that evidence we just took a look at would come in handy here. This charm indicates that you were Azra's Summer's boyfriend. I'm sure you believe Orla killed your girlfriend a year ago. You lost your girlfriend, and so you've been angry at Orla. Alright, I'll admit it. I'll never forgive that orca. Azra is dead, and that orca is still swimming around, happy as a clam. I became an animal keeper just so I could prove that orca is a killer. You're right, I wanted that orca to pay. There, do you feel good dragging up a person's past? But it still doesn't change anything. There's still some noise in there. Ugh, he's right.
I disagree. It does change things. His out-of-control emotion quieted it down. Now we may be able to find out the truth behind that emotion.
Well, then let's go. We gotta go to the last statement. Again. Now, you notice that she doesn't seem pretty surprised.
Got it!
Even though he said he freaked. When Mr. Plume witnessed the orca finding the body, you freaked? Really? What are you getting at? When Mr. Plume as a witness... With Mr. Plume as a witness, Orla was guaranteed to be accused of the murder. Didn't it work out exactly as you hoped? In order to have Orla put down, you made Mr. Plume witness that scene. Dude, that is really creepy up there. That's a really creepy face. So you figured all that out, did you? Mr. Rhymes, are you admitting it? I didn't really want to have to fight anybody but the orca. But you leave me no choice. Oh boy. I am very sorry about what this is about to happen. Gah! Now it's time to get serious! Ahoy! Well, what? Yo, yo, yo ho ho! Ahoy, me brothers! Represent! Avast you grass eater, stay free! Take me words popping in your mouth, scurvy grass ears kneel to— oh shit. This is too fast for me! Fuck you! I was doing so well the last time, now I can't do it no more. I can't find the beat. Okay, well actually, to be honest, when I was looking through the lyrics, it's like, I can't figure out how to actually get it to the beat. Maybe I'll get it the next time. Maybe. But it's a lot harder this way. What's going on? Where did this part fellow come from? He looks like a completely different person. Best transformation. Order! If we don't have order, Prosecutor Blackwell will yell at us. Even Prosecutor Blackwell is at a loss of words. So I plan to have that wench be a witness? Ah, you caught me out. It be true I thought that orca's murderous ways should be found out. That be why I schemed to have De Plume see the body. So you admit it? You deliberately framed Orla? Ah, it be true. But what skin be that off of anybody's nose? That orca be a murdering, scurvy dog. I may have a grudge against that Orca, but I always felt grateful towards the captain. The Orca murdered Azure and the captain, so of course he should walk the plank. Yeah, I don't have a response to that.
I agree, it wouldn't make any sense for him to kill the owner. Why would he? But his hatred for Orla, on the other hand, comes through loud and clear.
Wait a minute. If killing Shipley doesn't make sense, who would it make sense for Rimes to kill? Maybe my theory has been all wrong. Your Honor, I think I just became aware of a new fact. Oh? And what is that? Now that we know about Mr. Rimes' intense hatred of Orla, it turns the premise we've been arguing under on its ear. I will now reveal the identity of the individual Mr. Rimes meant to kill from the start. Orla? What? So the witness intent was to kill the Orca. Didn't we just establish this? Exactly. The witness intended victim was not Jack Shipley. From the start, it was all a scheme to kill Orla. The Orca was his true target, but Jack Shipley is the one who died. The Orca is alive and quite well. He's right. He wanted to kill the Orca, and yet it was Jack Shipley who fell to his death. How did that happen? Well, we're gonna find that out in the next video, because I'm sorry, it is already 30 minutes into this video, so I will see you guys in the next Let's Play. See ya.